Hi there, Maya. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome, everybody.
Yay.
We'll give everyone a few minutes to join before we get started, but thanks for being here on time.
She said I don't have to.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us. We'll start in a couple minutes. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hey. We'll probably wait about 2 or 3 more minutes just to make sure everyone can join. Hi, Kai. Welcome. Thanks for being here. We'll start in a couple minutes. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Best thing to do in the future for those of you who are having to ask for permission to join, if you're logged in your school email, then you won't have to ask for permission. It's always good whenever you do anything with school to make sure you're logged into your SD Virtual Schools email. That'll give you access to everything you need related to schoolwork. Okay? And if you need help, you can ask Ms. Abriani or I or your teacher if you need your login or anything. All right, we're down to 1 minute and then we'll get going. Welcome, Christopher. Thanks for joining. Ms. Abriani, is that your pretty birds I hear in the background?
It is. Let me close my window so they're not so distracting.
No, it sounds like a pretty soundtrack. It's so calming.
It is. We also have some hawks, though, and sometimes they go, wah, wah, so you don't want to hear that. Is that Alex and Marley? Hello, I'm Mrs. Abriani. So good to see you. I'm glad you made it. They're waiting on their computers to be sent to them, but I sent them the link to this meeting and they made it. Nice to see your faces. This is just going to tell you a little bit about your English class. So just listen in and I will show you how to ask questions along the way if you have any. So thanks for joining. This will take about half an hour probably. And Alex and Marley, we're going to say at the end to submit an assignment that we're going to be talking about, but you don't have to do that, okay? Because you don't have your computers yet. But thanks for joining. I'm glad to see your face, and I wanted you to see mine for the first time. I'm meeting these guys, and they're waiting on their Chromebooks. So welcome to San Diego Virtual and your English 7 class, but you won't be expected to turn in an assignment at the end of this, okay? And I'll call your mama and let her know when your computers are supposed to be arriving. I'm not sure we have that information yet, though, so thank you for your patience. Lots of things to learn the first week, right, you guys? Even if you had your computers, you still might feel like, what am I doing? What is this school all about? But that's part of what this meeting's for, to say hi and to help answer some of your questions, and everything's going to start making sense. Maybe not next week, maybe not the week after that, but once you've got a full month under your belt, it's gonna be like riding a bike, and this school and this class is just gonna feel pretty normal. So don't worry if you're kinda lost right now, that's normal. I'm Mrs. Abriani, one of the English teachers for middle school here, and Mrs. Bryant is also here, and we're leading this meeting just to say hi and welcome to English 7.
And to hopefully answer a lot of questions. All right, let's get going. Well, thank you all for showing up. I think this will really help you feel a little bit more comfortable about starting your English class. I know maybe some of you haven't even touched a class yet. I know a lot of my students have just been doing their diagnostics. So this will show you a little bit about how to open a class. They pretty much all look the same, but this one's specific to English and some of the different requirements that we have for this English class this year. All right, so let's dive in. A couple things. If you have a question, let me orient you with Google Meet. If you look at your screen, there's all those different buttons down at the bottom. There's the hang up button. Right in the middle, you see the little hand. If I'm talking too fast or if I'm making absolutely no sense at all, then you can raise your hand and we'll hear a little bing, and I'll stop and make sure you get your questions answered, okay? And we'll take moments to just double check that everyone's crystal clear as much as possible, okay? There's also a little feature called chat, which is a way to chat in this meeting and to ask questions back and forth. And that's, if you look at the very bottom of your screen, there's a little text box with the lines in it. That's how to send or respond to a chat, okay? And lots of teachers use those. So anytime you go to one of these meetings, both of those features every teacher uses. All right, let's roll. Here we go. All right, so welcome to English 7. You've seen our faces. You'll see these little pictures anytime you send us something like an email or a chat message. That's us. We're real live people, not a computer. And we love to help you guys with any questions you might have, even if it's not necessarily about English. So please feel free to come to us. Our contact info will be on every single assignment in English that you see, okay? All right, so let's practice using chat just so you can get comfortable with it. So just to kind of quiz you guys, just for some fun, use the chat feature, and Miss Aubriani and I will start this off. So answer this question. Think of an animal that best represents you. You don't have to say why unless you want to, but in chat, put in there what animal you think best represents you. And maybe later on, we'll talk about why you chose that animal. So I'll start things off here. Nice. Cats already. Nice.
Ooh. Hi, Isaac.
Ooh, cheetah. Nice.
Oh, cat and dog. Cockatiel. All right. Birds represented. A guinea pig. Ooh, a koala.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I would love to be a koala and sleep all day.
Oh, yes.
And they're fuzzy and cute.
Awesome.
Cool ideas. Okay, awesome. Thanks for joining in and participating a little bit. If you change your mind, put in a new chat. Okay. All right, all you cats and dogs and koalas. Let's look at your English class. So when you actually log in and you click on your MS English 7A fall class, what you'll see is this screen right here. So at the very top, there's something called a syllabus. What that is, it's a big fancy word that means it describes your course. Teachers will probably just click on that for you. Another resource that's great if you choose to use it is this right here. It's your English department website. In case there's extra videos that might explain concepts or give examples of projects, that's in there. But to be honest with you, our English department puts everything in each activity, so you won't honestly need that website a whole lot because all the resources and videos on how to do things are going to be in every activity that you do. So don't stress too much in English about utilizing that website. What we're going to read together here is the introduction letter that we put in the beginning of this class just to explain about 3 important things that you really need to know. So here we go. If you were going to click on it, this is what it would say. There's 3 things. There's a novel study that we do in English. You have study guides in every tutorial. And everything is related to Google Drive. So again, like I said at the beginning, it's so important when you log in to use your school email, and that's how you'll be able to access all the activities and things that you'll need to do in each of your classes. So super quick, here's what this says. Hello and welcome to English. Hopefully you will enjoy the experience of learning independently online. We want you to know that you're not alone. Us teachers are here to help you with tutorials, tests, and writing projects. And this explains a little bit about the class. So first off, novel study. We're really excited about this project. You get a chance this semester and next semester to pick a novel from some that we've chosen for you, and you'll be doing a novel study each unit. So there's going to be 4 different times that you submit something. And as you go along and choose the novel that you have, we're actually going to have different meetings where we'll read aloud some of the novel together and where we'll actually do some of the study together as a small group online. That's just a little snippet about that. Next is study guides. In English, these are required, and I'm going to show you what that looks like when you actually need to access them. But basically, every tutorial has a study guide, and you'll turn them all in at once at the end of every unit before you take a post-test. And we can show you exactly how to save them and not lose them, okay? And the third, Google Drive, just like I said, everything is a Google Drive doc, and I'll show you in this little lesson how to make copies and how to save them, okay? All right, so I'll start with study guides because that's the most important thing each time you log into English. So just like I said, they all have a study guide. It's a requirement to do them and submit them all at the end. But here's the great thing, everybody, and this was the question all of my students have had, can I use them on the test? Yes, that's like the whole idea of these is that you can use them on your tests. And believe me, they're all going to help you with your tests because we looked at the test first and then went back to the study guide and made sure that everything you would really need to know and have notes on would be in there. So yes, use them on your tests. So here's what it looks like. Here's an example. The very first lesson that you do in English is called Experiencing Change in Life and Literature. So if you can see, there's the lesson. It'll be a tutorial and a mastery test. And then separately, where the arrow is, my hot pink arrow, that's the study guide. So when you click on that, it's going to look like this. It's going to say copy document. Would you like to make a copy? And the answer is always, always, always yes, make a copy. The beauty of it is Google will save it exactly where it's supposed to be saved without you having to worry about it. It's going to save to your drive. So you can't really lose a copy of it. Once you have a copy, it'll look like this. It will have on each study guide, it will tell you, see where it says page 9 right there? at the top. So it says Unit 1. There's the title of the tutorial. It says page 9. Here's what that means. For every single study guide at SD Virtual, it'll tell you what page to find the answers on. So you don't have to go through all 30 pages of a tutorial looking for the answers. It'll say exactly where to find the answers. Do we only want you to do the study guides? No, make sure you do the whole tutorial because there's lots to read and there's extra things that you'll need to know, but this is useful for your test, okay? And this is what you'll turn in for your tutorials. Okay, I know I'm talking a lot. How am I doing? Am I doing all right? Not lost anybody so far? Oop, my screen is frozen. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so just like I said, after you've done all the tutorials in each unit, you submit your study guides. You'll see it right before the last thing in your unit, the post-test. So there at the purple arrow, it says Unit 1 Study Guide Submission. That's what you'll click, and then it'll look like this. At the top, it'll always tell you what the objective or the whole purpose of the lesson or the activity is. So the objective on this says submit all your completed study guides from this unit to unlock, ding, 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 your next English unit. You will have 5 total to submit. So that's super important. So if you're kind of zoning out, tune back in. In order to move on in English, you must do 2 things. You must turn in your study guides and you must turn in your novel study. And then once we see that you've done that, we unlock the whole next group of lessons. So that tells you this is important. It's required. Good news too is each study guide is only about 2 pages long. It's not bad. So you'll click on that and it gives you instructions on how to do. It looks like this.
I love that picture.
I feel like that every day, at least once. In your drive, so it'll tell you exactly how many study guides you should find. If you can't locate them, if you're feeling like her and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know where they went, Miss Aubriani and I, or your teacher of record, can find them for you and help you submit them. Doing that the first couple times might be a little confusing, but don't stress. That's exactly why teachers are here. So do not let something like that stress you out. Okay. First time doing anything, second time doing anything will take some practice. So that's why we're here. Come to us for help. Okay, let's take a little brain break. So use the chat feature again, because now we're going to talk about our novel study. So we wanted you to think, if you can answer, what's your favorite book or a favorite book that you've read or a favorite character in fiction that you really love? So take a minute, use the chat feature, and put either a favorite book or a favorite character. Let's see what your answers are. Ooh, The Crown, like the TV series?
No, it's a book.
It is. Ooh, I gotta check that one out. I'm trying to think of one of my favorite characters in fiction.
It's 2 series, by the way.
It is?
Yeah, because there's one that has 5 books, I believe, and then the other one is 2, but it's like a second part to the first series.
Very cool. Fazbear Frights. Ooh, that sounds good. I am number 4. This is so cool. You guys know stuff I've never heard of. I kind of love that. Hi, Darshan. Welcome. Right now, we're sharing if you have a favorite book or a favorite character, just to get everyone kind of chatting with each other. I love the Grimm brothers too, Isaac. That's one of my favorites. I love fairy tales. honestly, I have 2 kids of my own. I have a 11-year-old and a 9.5-year-old, and my 9.5-year-old's a boy, and he loves Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And I gotta tell you, those books are funny. They make me laugh every time we read together. Greg is kind of hilarious. All right, everyone, thanks for participating just a little bit. So let's look at the novel study. Here we go. So it'll actually be the very first thing. And our goal is, if we can today, we'd like for you to turn this in. So when you go back to your English 7A class and you click on Unit 1, it's the top thing. It says Novel, Unit 1, Novel Study, choose your novel. So here's what that assignment looks like when you actually do click on it. You'll click right there for your copy. So every time you upload something for your English class, you're going to click on wherever it says click. So hopefully that's easy. And it's called Your Google Drive Copy of the Novel. It'll look just like that last one. It'll ask you to make a copy. So you click on Make a Copy, and again, it saves to your drive. And it will look like this. So it's called Novel Study Project. It says, this semester, you will complete a novel study that demonstrates your understanding of the lessons you've learned and elements of fiction. Please choose one of the options below as your novel for this project. Cool thing is, each of these books on this document is linked to an online version of the book. So if you don't have access and can't get a hard copy of it, then you have nothing to worry about, because if you click on each of these, it takes you to the whole entire novel. If you prefer, because for me, I kind of like having an actual book in my hands. So for me, I prefer to actually have a book and read the book, which is totally fine. Whatever works for you, that's perfect. So all you do in this assignment is, excuse me, choose the novel you think sounds interesting to you. And then if you look, number 1 says, the novel I have chosen is blank. That's where you'll type in the title of the novel you choose. And that's all you have to do for this assignment. It says, send a message to your English teacher letting them know which you chose. So either myself or Miss Abriani. And then you'll download this as a Word document and upload to submit. If that is too tricky, you can come to us for help. Most importantly is that you let us know which novel that you're choosing, and we can mark this as complete. So that's the most important part of this. So let's look at these choices just a little bit. I know one of you said that Hunger Games was your favorite novel. I actually just read that this summer for the second time because I love it so much, and it's a movie. A lot of these are also a movie too. So we thought we'd tell you just a teeny bit about each of these before we have you go ahead and try accessing your class, and that'll be the last thing that we do. So Hunger Games, you probably have heard of it. It's about a young girl named Katniss Everdeen who lives in the future sometime in what we call a dystopia, where the world is different than what we are used to now, and the government kind of controls everybody, and it's a different reality than our reality. She is chosen kind of to go to the Hunger Games and to fight for her district and to survive. It's a fight to the death. She and another boy named Peta end up in this competition, and they're in this arena where people can watch them. It's kind of like a reality show. People can watch them, and they have to kill off everybody else in order to win the Hunger Games, and then they can live comfortably for the rest of their life. It's a good book. I love it. And then one of my others is this one in the corner, top corner, The Giver. It's also one that's somewhat in the future and a kind of distorted reality where same thing, the government is controlling things and you don't know what's going on really. It's kind of cool because it's a mystery throughout the whole book. The main character in that is also a young girl. And one of my personal favorites. And then I think, Miss Aubriani, you wanted to talk about the other three just a little bit.
I will, but first I see a hand raised. Michelle, what's your question or comment?
The Givers author, I think it's the same one who wrote Starry something. I forgot what it's called, but it was a book about the Jewish being taken into camps, and forgot what it's called.
I know what you're talking about too. You like that book? You read it?
Yeah, I read it in 5th grade for school.
How cool. Yeah, sometimes you find an author that you really like, right? And you just read all of their things. When I was in elementary school, I fell in love with Roald Dahl. Have you heard of him? He wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and The Witches and The Twits and a lot of other some famous and some never became famous. James and the Giant Peach. They made a movie of that, which not a lot of people saw, but it's wonderful. And I just read all of his books. So if any of you have done that, I feel ya. Thanks for sharing, Michelle. I've heard of that story. I haven't read it myself, but yeah, there's a lot of well, some of these stories are kind of depressing and sad, but they're usually about the strength that the main character shows at the end of it all, right? So there's always some like happy aspect to take from it. So let me talk about some of these other books you have to choose from. That one at the top middle is called Hatchet. And Hatchet is not like the other two books Miss Bryant just mentioned. It takes place, I think maybe 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but in the present day for the most part. It's not a futuristic book. And it's about a boy who is in a small plane going to visit his family, and that plane crashes in a lake, and he survives, and he swims out with nothing but a hatchet, which is a little axe like you see in the cover of the book there, and it's about how he survives by himself in the wilderness. He comes across different crazy animals that try to eat his food and attack him, and he has to find food on his own and build a shelter, and you can imagine he becomes very good at it. I forget how long exactly he is on in the wilderness alone, but he does get rescued. And it's mostly just about how he survives. So if you like survivalist type of stories and thinking about how you might survive in the woods by yourself, that's a cool book for you. The other one I remember reading, I read Hatchet as in school just like you, and I also read that one in the bottom right, Esperanza Rising, and that is a story about a girl in Mexico who's born in she's in a very wealthy family. They have a big house, and they have servants that make their food and clean their house for them, and she's just living the good life. And then her father dies unexpectedly, and they have to leave Mexico, leave their beautiful home, and come to California and work on the farm, work on in an orchard picking fruits and vegetables. And so all of a sudden they go from this very rich family to this very poor family, and little Esperanza there has to do hard work for the first time in her life, and she really struggles with it, not just physically, but also, like, in her idea of what life should be like. So it's a little bit sad. It's kind of a sad story, but it's all about how she changes and grows and becomes stronger in the end. Same with, as you can imagine, Hatchet, that kid living in the wilderness. It's sad, but he becomes stronger in the end. And I'll bet a lot of you know that last book in the center there, Holes, um, 'cause there's a movie about it as well. And that is a book that's hard to describe because there's a lot of things going on in it, but it's about a boy who gets accused of stealing, and instead of going to jail, he gets to go to this camp. It's like a detention camp. He can't leave. He has to live there, with a bunch of other kids who are in trouble, and all they're ordered to do is dig holes over and over, day after day. They never get a break, and this boy, his family just has had the worst luck. Every single one of them. They think of themselves as cursed, and there's this whole story about how they became cursed generations ago. Um, but then a treasure is found, and they uncover all of these connections between, this area they're digging and the main character's family, and, it just unfolds all of these layers of connections between all of the characters, and it's really interesting. It is, again, one of those stories that's kind of, like, sad at first, but then becomes more of an adventure and becomes about the character growing and changing and getting out of that cursed family, legacy that they felt that they've been under. So, I bet you guys know some of these stories already, but that's the 5 you get to choose from, and that's why we're having this meeting today, so you can think about which of those descriptions sound the coolest to you, and when we let you go at the end of this meeting, you're gonna fill out that assignment and choose one of these to read little by little all semester long. Are there any questions about any of those books? You can type in the chat or raise your hand like Michelle did.
I know what I would ask if I was a student.
What?
I would ask, if I've read one, can I read it again for this project? What do you think, Miss Abriani?
I think you mentioned reading a book a second time, Mrs. Bryant, right? And I know when I read something more than once, I pick up on different things every time I read,
Yep,
and it's really great to read a book a second time.
it's true. I taught in the classroom for a long, long time, and I taught 3rd grade, and I read Charlotte's Web every year for 10 years. And you know what? I never got tired of it. I cried every time Charlotte died, even though I read it for 10 years straight. So the answer to that question for both of us is you can absolutely, if you've read one of these and you really loved it, you can read it again because you're going to discover new things about the characters and about maybe the symbolism or some of the hidden meanings in the novel. And I honestly think I enjoy, because I read, if I love something, I don't know about you guys, but if I read something and I really like it, I skim through it just so I can get to the end because I want to know what's going to happen so bad. And sometimes I don't really pay attention very carefully. And then reading it a second time, I go, oh, I forgot that happened, or, oh, I didn't really pay attention to that. That's really cool. So the answer is yes. You can definitely use one of these if you've already read it. Totally fine. Okay, so that's all we really wanted to show you for today, how to do those study guides and to talk about this novel study again. This is the one book for the whole semester, so it's all the way through January. Later on, probably in a week or two, we'll show you what the novel study actually looks like, but you have other things to do in the meantime. So before you worry about submitting anything for the Unit 1 novel study, we'll have you focus on your actual lessons and study guides. But like we mentioned, if you think you know which one of these you want to pick, then why not get this assignment over with, and that way you're done with one task for English today. So we're going to let you all stay in this meeting, and if you can, if you're able to, if you don't have your Chromebook, obviously you're not able to, but if you can, go ahead and upload this activity for the practice while you have Miss Abriani and I here to help you. So it's going to look like this screen when you click on the assignment. You'll click on the novel study copy like we showed you, your Google copy of choosing the novel, and you upload right here. It's the same as your PE logs and everything else. Anytime you turn something in, You'll click Upload New File. So again, I know that's a lot of steps, and that's why we're here. We can help you. So we're done talking. This is your chance to practice and to turn this in. So it's your turn. You can log into English class, open that Unit 1 novel study activity, and let us know your choice if you've got your choice ready. If you're not ready yet, no pressure. We don't want you to have to make a decision before you really get to think about it. So again, you raise your hand, or you can use chat to ask any questions you might have, or to tell us which novel you want to choose, and we'll make sure we take note of that, so that we can start scheduling some group activities to read that novel together. And you know what I didn't mention that I should have mentioned to Ms. Abriani is that for any of your activities, for discussions and for your other activities, we'll have class meetings just like this to actually do some of the activity together and to answer your questions. And those are really great to attend. We'll send you invitations, and your teacher will let you know when they are. Usually they're going to be around this time, Thursdays at 10 for 7th grade English, just to keep kind of the same habit. So expect to see invitations to those, and we'll help you with your writing. Was there anything I forgot to add that you think, Miss Abriani? I'm sure there were a lot of things, actually.
Yeah, that's probably TMI for a lot of students.
Oh, right? Yeah.
But the whole point is to get you to think about which book you want to choose to read throughout the semester. So it's kind of a big decision, but it's good to make a choice and stick to it. And even when you start reading the book that you chose, you should, if you decide maybe it's not for me, stick with it. I don't know how many books I started reading and then was like, ugh, I don't like this. And then something happens not till like the middle of the book. And then I'm like, oh, this just got interesting. So this is a good example of how to stick with a book that maybe you don't love at every turn, but you stick with it and you learn more and more about the characters. These are all good books. There's going to be something you like about each one of them. So think about it, make a choice, and then decide this week which one you want and turn in that assignment. Yes, Michelle.
When I went into the assignments, it's the Unit 4 study novel, right?
Unit 1 novel study. Should be the very first.
I'll show you what it looked like again, Michelle. Let me go back to that. Let's see here. So right there. So when you click on Unit 1, it's this very first thing that says Unit 1 novel study, choose your novel. So click on that. Yay, looks like I'm going to get to talk about the Hunger Games with some of you guys.
Thank you.
Did you find it, Michelle?
Yeah.
Awesome, good. Everyone, Darshan, in this group is in 7th grade. So numbers next to the names. Oh, meaning I know what you mean on the choices list. Yes. So that's like a general what grade level they are for as far as reading level. Yes, good question. So if you're still like, I gosh, I don't know, and I want something that's a little more challenging or a little more easy, then that would give you an idea of the difficulty level of each of those novels. Good question, Darshan.
Any other questions out there? And we can work with you one-on-one to get this submitted properly too. So we're just kind of hanging out to see if any other questions pop up before we let you go. But we'll follow up with each one of you on this assignment to make sure it made sense to you. But feel free to send us your chat message questions or raise a hand in the next couple minutes, and then we're gonna log off of the meeting and follow up with you individually. If not today, then tomorrow for sure, okay? Play around with it. Try to download this assignment and fill in your novel choice. Okay, Gustavo, I'm gonna put a star next to your name, and we will
I got it. 'Cause he's on my roster. I'll take care of Gustavo.
okay, cool.
Sorry about that, Gustavo. The giver, yay! I'm glad you chose. And I know you like that author, Michelle, so cool choice.
Cool. Hatchet. I think you'll really like it. I look forward to reading some of that with you. Thanks.
Miss Aubriani, I'm keeping track of these, okay?
You guys don't have to tell us right now what your choice is, right, Miss Bryant?
Right, absolutely.
You can, oh, good, Gustavo. Good, good, good. You can make your choice privately on your own and just upload it in your assignment. Fill out the assignment and upload it. You don't have to tell us right now in this chat or anything what you've chosen. We're just kind of hanging out in case you have additional questions before we jump into our next meeting. We have another meeting with 8th grade after this to talk about their novel study. So we're just kind of hanging out here, no pressure, but play around with the assignment. Let us know what your questions are as you do. And whatever you don't get answered right now, we're going to follow up with you individually, okay?
Hi, I'll send you a message in chat, like the regular chat, okay, in your email. I bet we could problem solve.
For Kai?
Yeah, for Kai.
Okay, cool.
Let's see, Kai, I will show you. Let me go back to this right here. So make sure that you guys click on this top one in blue, not the, it's confusing, not this PDF. So the thing that I've circled, that's the one you'll be able to edit on. So anytime you upload an assignment, it'll always be wherever it says click, your Google, your Google Drive copy. If you click on this other one, you're right. It's a PDF and you can't type on it. So go to that top one. I'm glad you guys are finding that problem. Sure. All right, Miss Aubriani, what do you think? Maybe 2 more minutes and then we'll end the meeting. For all of you students, if you run into a problem, please just come to us and send us a quick chat, or you have our phone numbers too in these assignments. So if you can't submit something or you make your choice, send us a message anytime. We would love to help you, okay? Hatchet. All right. Thanks, Maya. Yeah, it can be a little tricky. When you click upload new file, the other thing you have to do, which is not on this screen, but a little teeny tiny box that you have to click pops up next to it. When you click on that little tiny box, then it'll sit, then submit selected file will become blue. So do you see a little teeny tiny box? I should have put a picture like that in there. Okay. Amaya, let's see, you chose Hatchet. I tell you what, I will go ahead and mark it as complete for you, so don't even worry about it. Okay, I'll do that right now. You good? Yeah, of course. That's why teachers are here, because technology sometimes fails us. I'm going into yours right now, Maya. So in a second, when you refresh your browser, you'll see that it's completed. Hold on. Okay, Amaya, I just gave you 100% on that. So when you refresh your Chrome or Firefox browser and go back into your English class, you'll see that it's marked as complete. So you're done. All right, Miss Aubriani, if it's okay with you, I'm going to help one of my other students. I'm going to share my screen. Is that okay? Maybe we'll stay in here for like 3 more minutes. Okay, I'll put myself on mute for now.
Thanks, Darshan. That's exactly right. Thanks for the tip. That little checkbox. Your uploaded document will stay there. You can log back in, click that checkbox, and click submit again, and it'll submit that assignment that you uploaded. So thanks for that helpful tip. Keep playing around with it. You can't really mess anything up. I think Miss Bryant is actually talking to another student privately, so it's okay that she's on mute. Bye, Michelle. Thanks for joining. Talk to
But
you
I was
soon.
about to tell her that.
Yeah, no, she's talking to another student.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one. Thanks for joining.
You too.
All right, Gustavo, good work. We'll check your assignment as it's popped in, and we'll let you know if there's any problems with it. But thanks for joining. You guys can hang up whenever you want. If you feel like you've got what you need or you want to talk to us privately from here on out, you can hang up from this call. Thank you all for joining us. And in fact, I'm going to end the call in about 1 minute. Bye, Gustavo. All right, I'm going to end the meeting unless you have any other questions. Kai, can I help you with anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining and for participating. You have a good
You're
one.
welcome.
We'll keep in touch.
All right.
Let us
Bye.
know if you need anything. Bye.